So hi, I'm Stephanie Bormans.
And I'm Marcel Bormans.
And so going back many moons ago, I used to be Diocese youth worker and worked for Bishop Dennis Brown. And at that time, I just really desired to get married and find the right guy. And I had dated a lot of different guys during that time, and really prayed to God and thought, Lord, I just don't want to date anyone anymore. You've got to make it incredibly clear when I meet someone. I started up a girls' Catholic flat, and Marcel's sister Miriam was in the flat with me. And she always had this picture on our dining room table. They had a picture of Marcel dressed up in his clericals because he was training to be a priest with the Legions of Christ. And she always says to me, oh, Steph, he'd be really, really cute for you. And he had his hair all swished back with gel and just looked really geeky. It wasn't the type of guy that I'd really go for. And I was just like, no, you're kidding me. I said, he's training to be a priest. Why would I want to date your brother who's going to be a priest? So just pushed it all by. I had started up Life Team, and Miriam had gone overseas and lived in England for a while. We'd lost contact, and she rang me and said she's coming back to New Zealand and that she's had a baby and she'd like me to go along to the baptism. And when I got there, I saw Marcel up on the altar, and he had these really nice black silky pants on and looked rather handsome. And he just sort of caught my eye, and I thought, wow, he's actually quite cute.
I'd been in the seminary, as Steph said, studying for the priesthood overseas for 7.5 years. After 2 years, I realised that maybe I actually wanted to get married and have a family, but they always said, look, it's just your hormones, you're only 19 or 20 at the time, let's just see. But for the next 5.5 years, I was still quite convinced. So eventually, with permission, I came back to New Zealand, went to Auckland University, and I just wanted to get married. I was 28 and thought, okay, where's my wife? Thinking I could just find one, not really knowing how it all works. And then I became quite despondent because there are so many nice girls out there, but how do you know who is the one to marry? And I got upset with God, I suppose, and just said to him, look, I don't know what to do. I don't know how this works. My sister said, look, can you be the godfather for Reuben, her first boy, down in Hamilton? So I thought, great. So I drove down to Hamilton, and then afterwards we were gathered in the car park of the cathedral, and then I saw this girl, attractive girl, walking up. I thought, oh gee, I hope she's coming to talk to us, because I was still looking for a wife. And then she did join us, and then Miriam, my sister, introduced Steph, and I thought, wow, this is cool. And then Miriam invited her to come for the cup of tea afterwards, and I was thinking, please say yes. And she did. And so we got back to the house, and we were just mesmerised by each other, really.
After I met him, and I thought, wow, he's just a really nice guy, and basically he was a guy who was passionate about his faith, which I thought was like trying to find a needle in a haystack. I went home from that baptism and I said, Lord, if this guy is the right guy that's meant to be, please make it clear.
And I thought I'd ring Stephanie and let her know to see if I could, catch up with her. I'd never rung a girl before. I never bothered because I always wanted to be a priest. So I had to think, well, what do you do? And I thought, in the movies, they always come up with a plan of what they're going to say, and then they launch into it. So I thought, okay, I'll talk about her youth group work, her life team work, and I will offer to help out, and that will be my excuse to see her.
I prayed that if he was meant to be the right one, that he would ring me up within the week, and that he would not mention anything about wanting to help me out with youth ministry. And if he did ask anything about youth ministry, I knew clearly from God that was not the guy for me.
So of course, that was my plan. And so I picked up the phone, and Steph answered, and I thought, right, here we go, I'll launch into it. And suddenly it was like a hand just came and physically wiped away all the words I planned, and I was left blank. And I thought, hi, it's Marcel. I'm dropping Miriam and Reuben off in Hamilton. Can I see you?
And I was like, yes! I was like, I had him on the phone, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, God's answered my prayer. I couldn't believe it. And I was just so excited at that point. I almost couldn't contain myself, but I said, I still stayed cool, calm, collective on the phone. And I was like, yeah, that'd be great.
And I said to God, okay, if she's the one, I'm going to make something really tough for you, Lord. I'm going to ask you to do something to prove that she's the one. And I don't think you can do it, but there's to be a single red rose in a vase on her dining room table. Can't beat that, God. There's no way you can do that. Don't ask me why I was challenging God, because that's the stupidest thing you can do. Anyway, so I dropped off Miriam and Reuben, went to Steph's house. She showed me around the house. I'd actually forgotten what I'd said to God on the way down. at this stage. Looked at the garden and everything like that, fountain, roses, all that kind of thing. Went inside, here's the lounge, here's the dining room, and I looked at the dining room and there was a single red rose in a vase on the dining room table, and suddenly it came back to me what I said to God, and I was dumbfounded. I was gobsmacked, my jaw hit the ground, and I just looked at her and she saw change in reaction, I think, and she said, what's up? And I said, well, you won't believe it. And so we sat down and I told her the fleece I'd put out to God that, if Steph was the one I was to marry, red rose, vase, dining room table. Steph then told me about what she'd said about me calling but not mentioning life team, or well, not mentioning youth work at all. And boom, we knew that we were to be married.
This is our first date.
So, but I think when you've got faith, this is the way God works. He uses what you have if you're willing for it to be used and if you're willing to go there.